Here it is. With the start of Chuseok's mass travel, road safety remains a key concern. Accidents tend to surge from day one, making seatbelts and car seats essential.
민족 대이동이 시작된 추석 연휴, 교통안전에 대한 경각심도 필요합니다. 연휴 첫날부터 사고가 집중되는 만큼 안전벨트와 카시트 착용 등 기본 수칙은 꼭 지켜야겠습니다.
And everybody thinking about this right now. We already have some people texting into the show who are being careful to pull over before they
That's
send
right.
their text.
Thank you very much for that. It is already past 6 p.m., which means that the great exodus out from the Greatest Seoul area has already begun.
I think some people were lucky enough to get off work a little bit early today, so maybe try to get ahead of the crowd a little bit. But I think you're still going to be obviously waiting around a little bit if you're trying to move.
And they say that traffic accidents happen more on the eve of the actual holiday start.
Right. I think the most traffic on the road is going to be the day before Chuseok. So that's Sunday. Chuseok's actually on Monday. And then the day after, right? So people who waited until the day before to go to their family's house or their hometown, and then who go back afterwards, right?
So compared to usual, we are seeing an increase in the number of traffic accidents.
Right. Like, of course, that makes sense. If there's more cars on the road, there's just a higher chance that there's going to be an accident, right? So there's an average of 108 accidents per day, where there's usually only 75.
Okay, just simply because there are more cars on the road.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right?
네. 추석 연휴에 이제 모두들 이제 차로 이동을 하니까 교통사고가 평소보다 최대 1.4배 증가를 한다고 합니다. Makes sense, more cars on the road, but it's probably not as high as it would be if you just talk about the pure numbers of cars, because traffic is bumper to
So
bumper.
slow, right.
It is hard to get into an accident.
So maybe it's a less serious accident, more of a fender bender, right?
That's right.
But of course, if you're not being safe in your car, there is much higher chance of more serious injuries, right?
During the Chuseok holiday?
And always.
Always, okay.
So, of course, whether your child is in a car seat or whether you're using a seatbelt, I was surprised to hear this statistic. Seatbelt usage in Korea in the back seat is still quite low. People tend to not wear them in the back seat. It's 48% of people, so less than half of people wearing their seatbelt when they're in the back. So make sure everybody's strapped in on the way.
Where do you fall in terms of this statistic?
I'm a big stickler for seatbelts, because it only takes once.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing, because hopefully, if you're lucky,
Knock on wood.
your seatbelt is never needed, right?
Yeah.
But if it's needed once and you're not wearing it, then that's a disaster, right?
Do you wear the seatbelts in the back when
Yeah.
you're in a taxi as well?
Yep.
Even as that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. And I make my kids do it too.
Good for you, good for you.
I don't know what they
yeah.
do when I'm not there, though.
No, it's something that becomes a habit, right? So back in New Zealand as well, if children don't wear car seatbelts in the back, then the driver gets fined.
Yeah.
In New Zealand, Australia, Sweden, these countries, their fines are exorbitant.
Right. They're really strict about it. I've actually been fined for that before when my kids were goofing around in the back.
And they didn't have their seatbelts on?
Exactly.
한국은 이제 뒷좌석 그 시트벨트 착용률이 48%로 이제 낮기 때문에 차 사고가 나면은 더 위험하다고 합니다.
Right.
Alright, so let's have a look at some key words from there.
Yep.
Speaking of key concern. 핵심적인 우려, 주요 관심사, 가장 중요한 문제죠.
Yep. A key something is very important thing, right? Because you need a key to be able to get into anywhere. So it's something super important. And a concern just means a worry, right?
So key concern, other ways you can say the same thing. Main concern, major concern, primary concern, top concern. They all mean similar things.
The most important issue, right?
So for example, you could say that data privacy is a key concern for many users. 데이터 프라이버시는 많은 사용자들에게 핵심적인 관심사다.
Right. So we're talking about buckling up right here, right? Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
How would you say that?
So making seat belts. All right, so in our article, we said accidents surge from day one, making seat belts essential. 연휴 첫날부터 사고가 급증하는 만큼 안전벨트는 필수입니다.
Right, making seatbelts a key concern, right? So you have to buckle up. That's the expression that we use. Make sure everyone's buckled up. Make sure everyone's clicked in.
Okay, so here's the article once more. With the start of Chuseok's mass travel, road safety remains a key concern. Accidents tend to surge from day one, making seatbelts and car seats essential.
네.
Okay, let's move on to the next news.
The U.S. government has entered a shutdown for the first time in 7 years due to a failure to agree on a temporary budget. Operations at national parks, including the Statue of Liberty, and airport security are facing disruptions, throwing a wrench into normal services.
미국 정부가 임시 예산안 합의 실패로 7년 만에 셧다운에 돌입했습니다. 자유의 여신상 등 국립공원과 공항 보안 업무에 차질이 발생하고 있습니다.
네.
Okay, so the US government has entered a shutdown for the first time in 7 years.
Right. The last time this happened was also during Trump's administration, his previous one before Biden. Of course, there's a lot of division in the United States these days. Nobody's really getting along that well. Everybody's talking about how the other side is wrong, the far right, the extreme left, right? So especially one of the main issues is Obamacare subsidies, so health care subsidies. The Republicans are against these subsidies, and the Democrats are absolutely certain that that needs to stay in effect.
그래서 일단 10월 1일부터 시작된 이번 회계연도 예산에 대한 합의를 해야 됐었는데 그게 이루어지지 못했죠.
네.
그럼 셧다운을 예방하기 위해서 임시 예산안이라도 합의를 해야 했는데 그것마저도 불발돼서 7년 만에 미국 정부 셧다운이 시작됐습니다.
Right.
And you mentioned Obamacare. 그러니까 민주당과 공화당이 이 오바마 케어 보조금 문제 때문에 극심한 대립을 하고 있는데 for example, one side is saying, we need to continue with the Obamacare.
Yeah.
민주당은 오바마 케어 보조금을 연장하자 이런 의견이고
네.
공화당은 근데 오바마 케어 너네들 불법 이민자들도 포함할 거 아니야. 그러니까 안 돼. 이런
Right.
대립이 있습니다.
Right. Once again, the immigration issue seems to play into a lot of different things that the Trump administration is talking about, right?
So with the usually with these shutdowns, people are sent home or they're asked to work for no pay, no immediate pay at least. And what's happening this time around?
So it's chaos, right? Because a lot of stuff is run by the federal government. So that's almost 1 million federal workers. 750,000 people will be on unpaid leave. They call it a furlough, F-U-R-O-U-G-H, which is when you're basically, your work suddenly is suspended. Usually it means on a temporary basis, but here we don't really know how long the shutdown is going to be. So
Yeah.
only essential personnel are working.
That's right. Essential workers, 필수 인력만 근무를 하고 있고요. 75만 명의 공무원은 지금 무급 휴직을 하고 있습니다.
Right.
And of course, that means that contract workers, they don't get reimbursed. So if you are a government worker and you are being forced to work because you are an essential worker, you're not being paid immediately. But of course, once
Right.
the new budget comes in, they will be,
Reimbursed, hopefully.
reimbursed.
Yeah.
But if you are a contract worker, likely you won't be. You will be just left with no work.
And of course, it's chaos because there's a huge backlog of pay and paperwork that needs to be done when everything goes back online. So at airports, air traffic controllers, who are obviously essential workers, and other security personnel are working without pay. So that's going to be chaos at the airports as well.
Okay, so chaos everywhere.
Right.
All right, as we mentioned, the main point of contention was the Obamacare and so on. Let's have a look at some expression. Face disruptions. 예상치 못한 문제나 혼란을 겪다.
Yep, we use face a lot in the news. When you're dealing with some sort of an issue, you have to face the issue, you have to deal with the issue. And then a disruption is a disturbance or something that makes you change your plans or interrupts your process or your event.
So in our article, we said that airport security is facing disruptions.
Yep.
공항 보안 업무에 차질이 발생하고 있습니다.
Or a screaming child on an airplane can
Definitely will
make you
cause-
face some sleep disruptions.
That's right. All right, here's the article once more. The US government has entered a shutdown for the first time in 7 years due to a failure to agree on a temporary budget. Operations at national parks, including the Statue of Liberty and airport security, are facing disruptions, throwing a wrench into normal services.